Man met a journalist at a corporate gala and is now navigating a complicated relationship and work life after finding out the truth about her and his company. The crisp morning air mingled with the soft glow of the sun as it peeked through the towering skyscrapers. It was a perfect morning, the kind that made Alex feel invincible as he made his way to the office. Alex Hartley was a marketing executive at Luminatech, a leading tech company known for its innovative products and sleek marketing campaigns. At 35, Alex had carved out a successful career, climbing the corporate ladder with a blend of charm, hard work, and a knack for understanding what made people tick. His brown hair was neatly styled, his suit impeccably tailored, and his brown eyes sparkled with determination and ambition. The office was a whirlwind of activity, with the hum of computers and the rustle of papers creating a cacophony of sounds that filled the air. Alex thrived in this environment, where every day brought new challenges and opportunities to prove himself. As he stepped into the elevator, he felt a rush of excitement, anticipating another productive day. "Morning, Alex," greeted his assistant, Jenna, as he stepped out onto the executive floor. Jenna was efficient and organized, with an uncanny ability to anticipate Alex's needs before he even voiced them. "Morning, Jenna. Anything urgent?" Alex asked, taking a sip of his coffee. "Just the usual," she replied, handing him a stack of reports. "Oh, and don't forget you have the charity gala tonight. You're presenting the check on behalf of the company." "Thanks for the reminder," Alex said, already mentally preparing his remarks for the event. The charity gala was one of the many ways Luminatech gave back to the community, and it was a high-profile event that attracted a lot of media attention. As the day wore on, Alex immersed himself in meetings, strategizing marketing campaigns, and reviewing performance metrics. The hours flew by in a blur of activity, and before he knew it, it was time to head to the gala. He quickly changed into a tuxedo, adjusting his bow tie in the mirror. He looked every bit the polished executive, ready to represent his company. The gala was held at the luxurious Grand Oak Hotel, its ballroom transformed into a glittering wonderland of twinkling lights and elegant decor. The soft strains of a jazz band filled the air as guests mingled, their laughter and chatter creating a lively atmosphere. Alex felt a surge of pride as he looked around, knowing that his company played a significant role in supporting various charitable causes. As he made his way through the crowd, Alex's eyes landed on a woman standing by the bar. She had shoulder-length auburn hair that framed her face perfectly, and her emerald green dress hugged her figure in all the right places. She was laughing at something the bartender said, her smile lighting up the room. Feeling a sudden urge to introduce himself, Alex walked over, his heart pounding with anticipation. "Hi, I'm Alex Hartley," he said, extending his hand. "Mind if I join you?" The woman turned to face him, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Not at all," she replied, shaking his hand.
"I'm Samantha Brooks."
The moment their hands touched, Alex felt a spark of electricity. There was something about Samantha that intrigued him, a magnetic pull that he couldn't ignore. They began talking, and Alex found himself captivated by her wit, intelligence, and the way her eyes crinkled at the corners when she laughed. As the night progressed, they moved from the bar to a quieter corner of the ballroom, their conversation flowing effortlessly. They talked about everything from their favorite books to their career aspirations, discovering shared interests and passions. Alex learned that Samantha was a journalist, passionate about uncovering the truth and telling compelling stories. By the end of the evening, Alex felt an undeniable connection with Samantha. As they exchanged numbers and said their goodbyes, he couldn't help but feel that this was the beginning of something special. Walking back to his car, the sound of raindrops began to patter on the pavement, creating a soothing rhythm. Alex smiled to himself, replaying the evening's events in his mind. The days following the gala were a blur of anticipation and excitement for Alex. He couldn't stop thinking about Samantha, her laughter, her wit, the way her eyes sparkled with curiosity. He found himself smiling at the thought of her, eager to see where their connection would lead. They began texting each other, their conversations flowing as naturally as they had that first night. Every ping of his phone brought a thrill of excitement, and Alex often caught himself daydreaming about their next meeting. It wasn't long before they arranged to meet for dinner at a cozy little bistro known for its intimate atmosphere and exquisite cuisine. The restaurant was softly lit, with candles flickering on each table and the rich scent of gourmet dishes wafting through the air. Alex arrived early, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. He chose a table near the window, where the streetlights cast a warm glow through the glass. When Samantha walked in, Alex's breath caught. She wore a navy blue dress that highlighted her auburn hair and bright smile. As she approached, Alex stood up, greeting her with a warm hug. "It's so good to see you," he said, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "You too, Alex," Samantha replied, her eyes meeting his with a hint of mischief. "I've been looking forward to this all week." They settled into their seats, ordering wine and appetizers. The conversation flowed effortlessly, filled with laughter and shared stories. Alex felt a deep connection with Samantha, as if they had known each other for years. "So, tell me more about your work," Samantha said, leaning forward with interest. "What's it like at Luminatech?" Alex's eyes lit up as he described his role and the excitement of working on cutting-edge marketing campaigns. "It's demanding, but incredibly rewarding," he said, There's a real sense of innovation and progress. Plus, the team is fantastic. Samantha listened intently, asking insightful questions and sharing her own experiences as a journalist. Alex was captivated by her passion for uncovering the truth and telling compelling stories. As the evening went on, their connection deepened. They discovered a shared love for travel, both having a long list of places they wanted to visit. They talked about their favorite books and movies, laughing over shared tastes and playful disagreements. By the time dessert arrived, Alex felt a warmth and ease he hadn't experienced in a long time. Samantha's presence was like a soothing balm to his often hectic life. They lingered over coffee, savoring the last moments of their evening together. Walking her to her car, Alex felt a surge of happiness. The night air was cool and crisp, and the stars above twinkled like scattered diamonds. As they reached her car, Samantha turned to him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "I had a wonderful time tonight, Alex," she said softly. "Me too, Samantha," he replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "I'd love to see you again." "I'd like that," she said, smiling warmly. As they said their goodbyes, Alex felt a sense of anticipation for what the future held. He watched as Samantha drove away, the sound of the engine fading into the night. Walking back to his own car, he couldn't wipe the smile off his face. Over the next few weeks, Alex and Samantha's relationship blossomed. They went on hikes, visited art galleries, and shared countless meals at quaint little restaurants. Each date only strengthened their bond, revealing more about each other's hopes, dreams, and fears. One rainy afternoon, they found themselves at a cozy cafe, the scent of fresh pastries filling the air. The rain tapped gently against the windows, creating a soothing background melody. Samantha reached across the table, taking Alex's hand in hers. "I feel like I've known you forever," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Me too," Alex replied, squeezing her hand gently. "It's like we were meant to find each other." As the rain continued to fall, they sat there, content in the simple pleasure of each other's company. The world outside might have been bustling and chaotic, but inside, they had found a peaceful haven in each other. Alex couldn't remember the last time he had felt this happy. Samantha had become a bright spot in his life, a source of joy and inspiration. Alex's life seemed to be moving in a perfect rhythm. His work at Luminatech was fulfilling, and his relationship with Samantha brought him a newfound sense of happiness and balance. However, subtle signs that something was amiss at the company began to emerge, gradually disturbing his peace. One morning, Alex arrived at the office early, hoping to get a head start on a new marketing campaign. As he stepped into the elevator, he noticed a few colleagues whispering in hushed tones, their faces etched with concern. Though curious, he dismissed it as typical office gossip and focused on his tasks for the day. As the weeks went by, Alex started noticing more inconsistencies. Documents would go missing, budgets were misreported, and there were unexplained changes in project timelines. His instincts told him that something was off, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. One afternoon, Alex received an unexpected call from James, a senior executive at Luminatech. James was known for his stern demeanor and no-nonsense approach to business. "Alex, I need you to come to my office," James said, his voice unusually tense. "Sure, I'll be right there," Alex replied, feeling a knot of apprehension forming in his stomach. James' office was on the top floor, a spacious room with large windows offering a panoramic view of the city. As Alex entered, he noticed James pacing back and forth, a deep frown on his face. "What's going on, James?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice steady. James stopped pacing and looked at Alex with a grave expression. "There have been some serious allegations against the company. Internal audits have revealed discrepancies, and there are rumors of unethical practices." Alex's heart raced. "What kind of allegations?" "Fraud, embezzlement, and possibly worse," James said, lowering his voice. "We're still trying to get to the bottom of it, but I need you to keep this information confidential for now. The last thing we need is a scandal." Alex nodded, feeling a mix of shock and disbelief. "Of course, I'll keep it to myself." Leaving James' office, Alex's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. He had always believed in the integrity of Luminatech and the people he worked with. The idea that there could be something nefarious happening behind the scenes was hard to accept. That evening, he met Samantha for dinner at their favorite Italian restaurant. The warm, inviting ambience and the delicious aroma of garlic and herbs did little to ease his troubled mind. "You seem distracted," Samantha said, her eyes filled with concern. "Is everything okay?" Alex forced a smile. "Just a lot on my mind with work. Nothing to worry about." She reached across the table, taking his hand in hers. "If you ever need to talk, I'm here." "Thanks, Samantha," he said, squeezing her hand gently. "I appreciate it." Despite his best efforts to hide his unease, Samantha could sense that something was troubling him. She decided not to press him further, hoping he would open up when he was ready. A few days later, Alex's curiosity got the better of him. He decided to dig deeper into the company's affairs, hoping to find some clarity. He spent hours after work poring over financial reports and internal documents, looking for any irregularities. One night, while going through a stack of files, he came across a set of emails that seemed suspicious. They were between high-level executives, discussing off-the-book transactions and covering up losses. Alex's heart sank as he realized the gravity of the situation. Luminatech was indeed involved in unethical practices, and the implications could be devastating. Feeling a mix of anger and betrayal, Alex knew he had to confront James with his findings. He couldn't stand by and let the company continue down this path. But as he prepared to take action, a nagging thought tugged at the back of his mind. How deep did the corruption go, and who could he trust? The next morning, Alex approached James' office with a sense of determination. He was ready to expose the truth, regardless of the consequences. As he walked in, he noticed James and a few other executives huddled together, their faces tense. "Alex, what is it?" James asked, his voice curt. "I need to talk to you about something important," Alex said, holding up the stack of emails. Before he could continue, the door burst open, and a team of federal agents stormed in. "Everyone, hands where we can see them. This is a raid," one of the agents shouted. Chaos erupted as the agents began seizing documents and computers. Alex stood frozen, his mind racing. In the midst of the commotion, he saw Samantha being led into the room by one of the agents. Her expression was unreadable. "What's going on?" Alex asked, his voice shaky. "Samantha Brooks, investigative journalist," the agent said, glancing at her. "She's been investigating Luminatech for months." Alex felt the world spinning around him. Samantha, the woman he had fallen in love with, was not just a journalist but the one who had been investigating his company. The sudden revelation hit him like a ton of bricks. "Alex, I can explain," Samantha began, but her words were drowned out by the flurry of activity around them. Betrayed and heartbroken, Alex walked out of the office, unable to process the whirlwind of emotions crashing over him. The woman he loved had been keeping a monumental secret, and the company he believed in was crumbling before his eyes. Alex stumbled out of Luminatech's headquarters, the cold evening air hitting him like a splash of icy water. The bustling city around him felt surreal, a stark contrast to the chaos and turmoil he had just witnessed. He walked aimlessly, his mind reeling from the sudden revelations. How could Samantha keep such a secret? And how could Luminatech, the company he had dedicated so much of his life to, be involved in such unethical practices? He felt a deep sense of betrayal and confusion, his thoughts a tangled mess. Eventually, Alex found himself at a small park, the quiet serenity offering a brief respite from his troubled mind. He sat on a bench, watching the leaves rustle gently in the evening breeze. The sounds of the city faded into the background, replaced by the distant chirping of birds and the occasional rustle of leaves. Pulling out his phone, Alex hesitated before dialing Samantha's number. His thumb hovered over the screen, his emotions warring within him. Finally, he hit call. The phone rang once, twice, and then she answered. "Alex, please, let me explain." Samantha's voice was urgent, pleading. "How could you?" Alex's voice cracked with emotion. "How could you lie to me like that?" "I didn't want to lie," she said, her voice breaking. "I was trying to uncover the truth. I never expected to meet you, to fall for you." Alex closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. "Why didn't you tell me? Why keep it a secret?" "It was too dangerous," Samantha replied. "If anyone found out what I was investigating, it could have jeopardized everything. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know how." The weight of her words hung heavy in the air. Alex struggled to reconcile his feelings, the love he felt for Samantha clashing with the betrayal he couldn't ignore. "I need time to think," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I understand," Samantha replied, her voice soft. "I'm so sorry, Alex. I never wanted to hurt you." They ended the call, and Alex sat there in the fading light, his heart heavy with conflicting emotions. He needed to understand the full extent of what had happened, both with Samantha and Luminatech. The next day, Alex returned to the office, now under the scrutiny of federal agents. The atmosphere was tense, with employees whispering in hushed tones and casting wary glances at the authorities. Alex made his way to his desk, trying to ignore the stares and focus on his work. "Alex, can I have a word?" James approached him, his expression grim. They walked to a quiet corner of the office. James looked exhausted, the weight of recent events etched deeply into his features. "I know this is a lot to take in," James began, "but we need to cooperate with the investigation. The company's future depends on it." "I understand," Alex replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil within him. "I want to help, but I also need to know the truth." James nodded. "We'll get to the bottom of this. For now, just focus on your work and stay out of trouble." As the investigation unfolded, more details emerged about the extent of Luminatech's unethical practices. Alex learned about the embezzlement, the fraudulent transactions, and the cover-ups orchestrated by high-level executives. It was a bitter pill to swallow, realizing the company he had trusted was deeply flawed. In the midst of the chaos, Alex found solace in small, familiar routines. He poured himself into his work, hoping to salvage what he could of his professional life. But no matter how hard he tried to focus, thoughts of Samantha kept creeping back. One evening, as he was leaving the office, he saw her waiting outside. Her eyes were filled with a mix of hope and regret, and she took a tentative step toward him. "Alex, can we talk?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. He nodded, unable to suppress the emotions bubbling within him. They walked to a nearby cafe, the warm lights and cozy atmosphere a stark contrast to the cold tension between them. "I've missed you," Samantha said, her eyes searching his for a sign of forgiveness. "I've missed you too," Alex admitted, his voice heavy with emotion. "But I don't know if I can trust you anymore." "I understand," she replied, her voice filled with sorrow. "I never wanted to hurt you, Alex. I was doing my job, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with you. That was real." Alex looked into her eyes, searching for the truth. He saw the sincerity there, the regret, and the love. But he also saw the pain, the consequences of her actions weighing heavily on both of them. "Maybe we can find a way to move forward," he said slowly. "But it will take time." Samantha nodded. "I'm willing to wait, to earn back your trust." Days turned into weeks as the federal investigation into Luminatech continued to unfold. The company's dark secrets were gradually brought to light, revealing a web of corruption that extended far beyond what Alex had initially imagined. High-ranking executives were implicated, and the media coverage was relentless. Despite the chaos, Alex remained focused on his work, determined to do his part in helping the company recover. He had also started seeing Samantha again, their relationship slowly mending as they navigated the difficult terrain of trust and forgiveness. One evening, Alex was working late in his office, poring over financial reports and internal documents. The office was eerily quiet, with only the faint hum of the HVAC system breaking the silence. As he sifted through the files, a particular set of documents caught his eye. They detailed a series of transactions that seemed to lead to an offshore account, hidden from the company's official records. His heart pounded as he realized the significance of what he had found. This could be the smoking gun that would expose the full extent of the fraud. He quickly made copies of the documents and locked them in his desk drawer, intending to present them to the authorities the next day. As he left the office, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The dimly lit parking garage felt more ominous than usual, and he quickened his pace to his car. Just as he reached it, a figure stepped out from the shadows. "Mr. Hartley," the man said, his voice low and threatening. "We need to talk." Alex's pulse quickened. "Who are you?" "Let's just say I'm someone who has a vested interest in keeping certain information under wraps," the man replied. "And it would be in your best interest to forget whatever it is you think you found." Fear surged through Alex, but he stood his ground. "I can't do that. People need to know the truth." The man stepped closer, his expression menacing. "You're making a big mistake, Hartley. Some things are better left buried." Without another word, the man turned and disappeared into the darkness, leaving Alex shaken. He quickly got into his car and drove home, his mind racing. He knew he had to be careful. Whoever was behind this was willing to go to great lengths to keep their secrets hidden. That night, Alex lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Memories of his time at Luminatech flooded his mind. He had always been proud of his work there, proud to be part of a company that he believed was making a difference. Now, those memories felt tainted, overshadowed by the corruption and deceit he had uncovered. The next morning, Alex called Samantha, needing someone to talk to. They met at a quiet cafe, the warm light and familiar aroma providing a brief sense of normalcy. "Samantha, I found something big," Alex said, his voice barely above a whisper. "There are hidden transactions, offshore accounts. This could be the key to exposing everything." Samantha's eyes widened. "Alex, this is huge, but you need to be careful. If they find out you have this information, you could be in serious danger." "I know," Alex replied, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "But I can't just ignore it. This is bigger than all of us." Samantha nodded, her expression resolute. "We'll figure this out together. But first, we need to make sure you're safe." Over the next few days, Alex wrestled with his conscience. He spent hours after work poring over the documents, the weight of his discovery pressing down on him. The company he had devoted so much of his life to, the place where he had built his career and made countless memories, was corrupt to its core. The thought of bringing down Luminatech filled him with a deep sense of sadness. He remembered the excitement of landing his first big campaign, the camaraderie of late-night brainstorming sessions, the pride he had felt in being part of something he believed was meaningful. But now, all of that felt like a lie. One evening, Alex sat in his apartment, surrounded by stacks of papers and files. The weight of his decision was overwhelming. Just as he was about to give in to despair, there was a knock on his door. He opened it to find Samantha standing there, concern etched on her face. "Alex, can I come in?" she asked softly. He nodded and stepped aside, letting her in. They sat on the couch, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. "I've been thinking a lot," Alex began, his voice trembling slightly. "I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can betray everything I've worked for." Samantha reached out and took his hand. "You're not betraying anyone, Alex. You're standing up for what's right. You're showing courage and integrity, and that's something to be proud of." Her words provided a small measure of comfort, but the pain in Alex's heart remained. He felt tears welling up in his eyes, and despite his efforts to hold them back, one escaped and rolled down his cheek. I love that company," he said, his voice breaking. "I believed in what we were doing." Samantha pulled him into a gentle embrace. I know, Alex. I know. But you have to believe in yourself too. You have the strength to do this. As he held her, Alex felt a sense of peace slowly settle over him. He knew that the path ahead would be difficult, but with Samantha by his side, he felt a glimmer of strength. The next day, Alex and Samantha worked together to securely transfer the documents to the authorities. The federal agents were grateful for the information, promising to use it to bring those responsible to justice. As the investigation deepened, more arrests were made, and the full extent of the conspiracy was revealed. The news was filled with stories of high-level corruption, and Luminatech's stock plummeted. The company's reputation was in tatters, but there was a sense of vindication among those who had fought to expose the truth. One evening, as Alex and Samantha sat together in her apartment, they reflected on everything that had happened. The soft glow of the lamp cast a warm light over the room, and the sound of distant traffic provided a soothing background noise. I still can't believe how deep it went, Alex said, his voice filled with disbelief. People I trusted, people I worked with every day. It's a harsh reality, Samantha replied, her hand resting on his. But you did the right thing. You stood up for the truth, even when it was dangerous. Alex looked into her eyes, feeling a surge of gratitude and love. I couldn't have done it without you. Despite everything, you've been my rock. Samantha smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek. And you've been mine. I know we've had our challenges, but I believe we can come out stronger on the other side. As they held each other, Alex felt a sense of peace. ##### Chapter 6. Confronting the truth. The weeks following the document handover were a whirlwind of emotions for Alex. The federal investigation continued to uncover more layers of corruption within Luminatech, and the media frenzy was relentless. As former colleagues were arrested and executives were paraded in front of cameras, Alex felt a deep, conflicting mix of sorrow, anger, and relief. Despite the turmoil, Alex and Samantha's bond grew stronger. Their shared experience had forged a deep connection, and they found solace in each other's company. Yet, Alex's inner conflict about Luminatech lingered. The company had been his home, his pride, and his career. The betrayal still stung deeply. One evening, as Alex sat in his apartment, he received a call from James. His heart skipped a beat. James had been one of the few colleagues he respected. He quickly answered. James, it's good to hear from you, Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady. Alex, we need to talk, James replied, his tone somber. Can you meet me at the old coffee shop on 5th Street? There's something you need to know. Alex agreed and headed to the coffee shop, a quaint, dimly lit place that had been a frequent meeting spot for Luminatech employees. As he entered, he spotted James sitting in a corner, nursing a cup of coffee. Hey, James, Alex greeted, sliding into the seat opposite him. James looked tired, his face etched with worry. Alex, I'm glad you came. I need to tell you something important. Alex leaned in, his curiosity piqued. What is it? James took a deep breath. I know about the offshore accounts and the fraudulent transactions. I've known for a while, but I didn't know how deep it went until recently. I've been cooperating with the authorities, but there's more you need to know. Alex's heart pounded. What do you mean? There are higher-ups involved, James said, lowering his voice. People who are still trying to cover their tracks. They know about your involvement, and they're not happy. Fear surged through Alex. So what do? We keep pushing forward, James replied, his expression determined. We need to make sure all the information comes out. The truth has to be exposed, no matter what. The weight of James's words settled heavily on Alex. He realized that the battle was far from over, and the stakes were higher than ever. As they parted ways, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wasn't alone in this fight. That night, Alex met Samantha at her apartment. The soft glow of the lamp cast a warm light over the room, creating a peaceful atmosphere. He told her about his meeting with James, and they discussed their next steps. We need to be careful, Samantha said, her voice filled with concern. But we can't back down now. We're so close to exposing the whole truth. I know, Alex replied, taking her hand in his, and I won't let them intimidate us. We have to see this through. Over the next few days, Alex and James worked tirelessly, gathering more evidence and providing it to the authorities. They knew they were being watched, but they remained vigilant, determined to bring the corrupt individuals to justice. One afternoon, Alex received an urgent call from James. Alex, they found out. They're coming after us. We need to move quickly. Panic gripped Alex as he realized the gravity of the situation. He quickly called Samantha and arranged to meet her at a safe location. They couldn't risk staying in their usual places. As Alex and Samantha reunited, they shared a brief, tense hug. We'll get through this, Samantha said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. We have to. They moved to a secure location provided by the authorities, who were now fully aware of the danger they were in. Under the protection of law enforcement, Alex, Samantha, and James continued their efforts to expose the full extent of the corruption. In the following weeks, the final pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. More arrests were made, and the remaining conspirators were brought to justice. The media frenzy reached a fever pitch as the public learned about the extent of Luminatech's corruption. Through it all, Alex remained focused, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to see justice served. He knew that the company he had once loved was gone, replaced by something far darker. But he also knew that exposing the truth was the only way to start rebuilding. One evening, as the investigation neared its conclusion, Alex and Samantha sat together, reflecting on their journey. The soft hum of the city outside provided a soothing backdrop to their conversation. "We did it," Alex said, his voice filled with a mix of relief and exhaustion. "We finally did it." Samantha smiled, her eyes shining with pride. "Yes, we did. And I couldn't have done it without you." As they held each other, Alex felt a deep sense of peace. The road ahead would still be challenging, but with Samantha by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came next. They had exposed the truth, and now it was time to start rebuilding. Not just their lives, but their trust in each other and the world around them. The aftermath of the investigation left Luminatech in shambles. The once mighty tech giant was now a shell of its former self, reeling from the scandal that had rocked its foundations. The public outcry was immense, and the company's stock had plummeted to an all-time low. Yet, amidst the chaos, Alex found a renewed sense of purpose. The weeks turned into months, and slowly, Alex began to rebuild his life. He took a leave of absence from Luminatech, needing time to process everything that had happened and to figure out his next steps. During this time, he leaned heavily on Samantha, whose unwavering support and love provided him with the strength he needed to move forward. One crisp autumn morning, Alex stood on the balcony of his apartment, gazing out at the city skyline. The cool breeze carried the faint scent of fallen leaves, and the golden hues of the season painted the landscape in warm, comforting colors. It was a stark contrast to the turmoil he had faced, and it brought him a sense of calm. Samantha joined him on the balcony, wrapping her arms around his waist. "What are you thinking about?" she asked softly. "Just about everything we've been through," Alex replied, turning to look at her. "And how grateful I am to have you by my side." She smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "We'll get through this, Alex. Together." With Samantha's encouragement, Alex decided to channel his energy into something positive. He began consulting for smaller tech startups, sharing his expertise and helping them avoid the pitfalls that had plagued Luminatech. His experience and insights proved invaluable, and he found fulfillment in guiding these young companies toward ethical and sustainable growth. Meanwhile, Samantha's career as a journalist flourished. Her exposé on Luminatech had garnered widespread acclaim, and she continued to pursue stories that held powerful institutions accountable. Despite the challenges they had faced, her passion for uncovering the truth had only grown stronger. One evening, after a particularly successful day at work, Alex and Samantha decided to celebrate. They returned to the cozy Italian restaurant where they had shared their first dinner date, the familiar ambience bringing back fond memories. As they sat at their table, sipping wine and enjoying the delicious food, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. The journey had been arduous, but it had also brought them closer together and helped them discover new strengths within themselves. "I've been thinking," Alex said, setting down his glass, "about what comes next for us." Samantha looked at him, her eyes filled with curiosity. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we've been through so much and we've come out stronger on the other side," he explained. "I think it's time we start planning for our future, together." A smile spread across Samantha's face. "I like the sound of that." Over the next few months, Alex and Samantha began laying the foundation for their future. They moved into a new apartment, one that offered more space and a sense of renewal. They talked about their dreams and aspirations, finding joy in the possibilities that lay ahead. One sunny afternoon, as they strolled through the park hand in hand, Alex stopped and turned to face Samantha. "There's something I want to ask you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. Samantha's eyes widened in anticipation. "What is it?" Alex took a deep breath, his heart pounding. "I know we've been through a lot, and it hasn't been easy, but through it all, I've realized that I want to be with you, to face whatever comes our way together. Will you commit to building a future with me?" Tears welled up in Samantha's eyes as she smiled. "Yes, Alex, I want that too." As they embraced, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the warmth of their love and the promise of a bright future. They had weathered the storm together and emerged stronger than ever, ready to face whatever challenges life had in store. The months that followed were filled with planning and celebration. They surrounded themselves with friends and family, people who had supported them through their journey. Though they didn't rush into marriage, their commitment to each other was clear and unwavering. They took the time to enjoy each other's company, exploring new adventures and continuing to grow both individually and as a couple. One evening, as Alex and Samantha sat together on the balcony, watching the sun set over the city, they reflected on their journey. The soft hum of the city below provided a soothing backdrop to their conversation. "We've come a long way," Alex said, his voice filled with gratitude. "And I wouldn't change a thing." Samantha nodded, resting her head on his shoulder. "Me neither. I'm excited to see what the future holds for us." Months turned into a year, and Alex and Samantha settled into a new rhythm of life. Their days were filled with work, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Alex found great satisfaction in his consulting work, helping startups navigate the tricky waters of business ethics and sustainable growth. Samantha continued to uncover stories that held powerful institutions accountable, her passion for journalism stronger than ever. One evening, As they prepared dinner together in their cozy apartment, Alex turned to Samantha with a thoughtful expression. "I've been thinking about something," he said, his tone serious. Samantha looked up from chopping vegetables, curiosity in her eyes. "What is it?" Alex took a deep breath. "I've been considering starting my own company, a tech startup, but one that prioritizes ethics and transparency from the ground up. Something that could set a new standard in the industry." Samantha's face lit up with excitement. "Alex, that's an amazing idea. You have so much experience and knowledge to offer. I think you'd be great at it." Her enthusiasm was infectious, and Alex felt a surge of confidence. "I've already started working on a business plan and reaching out to potential investors. I want to create something that we're both proud of, something that makes a real difference." As they discussed his plans over dinner, Samantha offered insights and suggestions, her journalistic perspective proving invaluable. They stayed up late into the night, brainstorming ideas and sketching out the framework of Alex's new venture. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Alex worked tirelessly to refine his business plan, meet with investors, and assemble a team of like-minded professionals. Samantha supported him every step of the way, balancing her own demanding career with her commitment to helping Alex succeed. Their hard work paid off, and soon Alex's startup, ClearPath Technologies, was officially launched. The company's mission was clear: to innovate with integrity and lead the tech industry towards a more ethical and transparent future. ClearPath's early success exceeded Alex's expectations. Clients were drawn to the company's commitment to ethics, and the innovative products they developed quickly gained traction in the market. The office buzzed with energy and optimism, a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere Alex had experienced at Luminatech. One sunny afternoon, as Alex gave a presentation to a room full of enthusiastic investors, he felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. He had taken the lessons from his past and used them to build something truly meaningful. After the presentation, Alex met Samantha for lunch at a nearby cafe. They sat outside, enjoying the warm sunlight and the gentle breeze. "You were incredible in there," Samantha said, her eyes shining with admiration. "ClearPath is going to change the industry. I can feel it." Alex smiled, reaching across the table to take her hand. "I couldn't have done it without you, Samantha. You've been my rock through all of this." As they enjoyed their meal, they talked about the future and the dreams they shared. Travel was high on their list, with destinations like Paris, Tokyo, and Cape Town sparking excitement and wanderlust. They also discussed the possibility of buying a house, a place they could truly call their own. One evening, as they sat together on the balcony, watching the city lights twinkle below, Samantha turned to Alex with a contemplative look. "You know, we've built something amazing together," she said, "but I think it's time we take the next step." Alex raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Samantha took a deep breath, her eyes meeting his. I think it's time we officially commit to each other. I want to be with you, Alex, for the rest of my life. Let's take that step forward and make it official." A wave of emotion washed over Alex as he realized the depth of her words. He had known for a long time that Samantha was the one he wanted to spend his life with, but hearing her say it made his heart swell with love. "Samantha, I've been thinking the same thing," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I want to build a future with you, to face whatever comes our way together." As they held each other, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the warmth of their love and the promise of a bright future. They had weathered the storm together and emerged stronger than ever, ready to face whatever challenges life had in store. Over the next few months, they began planning their future together. They looked for a house, a place where they could create new memories and build their life together. They also started discussing their wedding, envisioning a celebration that reflected their journey and their love. One sunny afternoon, as they strolled through a charming neighborhood, they found the perfect house. It was a beautiful, old Victorian with a wraparound porch and a garden bursting with colorful flowers. As they walked through the rooms, they could already imagine their future there, filled with love and laughter. "We'll make so many memories here," Samantha said, her voice filled with excitement. Alex nodded, feeling a sense of peace and happiness. "Yes, we will. This is just the beginning." Alex sat in his office at ClearPath Technologies, reviewing the proposal from Luminatech. It was a comprehensive plan aimed at rebuilding their reputation, focusing on ethical practices and transparency. The company had clearly learned from its past mistakes and was making a genuine effort to change. Alex knew it was a significant opportunity, not just for Luminatech, but for the industry as a whole. He glanced up as Samantha walked in, her eyes curious. "Have you made a decision?" she asked, sitting down across from him. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's a tough call. On one hand, Luminatech was such a big part of my life. On the other, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back." Samantha reached out, taking his hand in hers. "Whatever you decide, I'll support you. You've built something incredible here at ClearPath, but if you feel that helping Luminatech is the right thing to do, then I believe in you." Alex smiled, grateful for her unwavering support. "Thanks, Samantha. Your belief in me means everything." After much deliberation, Alex decided to take on the consulting role at Luminatech. He felt a responsibility to help guide the company through its transformation, using the lessons he had learned to ensure a brighter future. He balanced this new role with his ongoing work at ClearPath, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Months passed, and the changes at Luminatech were evident. Under Alex's guidance, the company implemented new policies and practices that prioritized ethics and transparency. The employees, once wary, began to embrace the new direction, and the company's reputation slowly started to recover. At ClearPath, Alex's team continued to innovate, creating cutting-edge technology that adhered to the highest ethical standards. The company's success served as a testament to the values Alex had championed, and it became a beacon of hope for the tech industry. One sunny afternoon, Alex and Samantha stood in the garden of their home, watching the flowers sway gently in the breeze. The house was filled with warmth and love, a true reflection of their journey together. They had decided to have a small, intimate wedding, surrounded by close friends and family, and today was the day. As their loved ones gathered in the garden, the air filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the soft murmur of excited conversation. Alex stood at the altar, feeling a rush of emotions. When Samantha appeared, radiant in her simple yet elegant dress, his heart swelled with love. They exchanged vows under the dappled sunlight, their promises to each other filled with sincerity and hope. As they sealed their commitment with a kiss, applause and cheers erupted from their guests, a chorus of support and joy. After the ceremony, Alex and Samantha mingled with their guests, sharing laughter and stories. They felt a profound sense of gratitude for the people who had supported them through their journey. Later that evening, as the sun set and the garden was bathed in a golden glow, Alex and Samantha sat together, watching the stars begin to twinkle in the sky. "We've come so far," Alex said softly, his arm around Samantha. "Yes, we have," Samantha replied, resting her head on his shoulder. "And I can't wait to see where our journey takes us next." Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. "Whatever comes our way, I know we'll face it together." As they sat there, the world around them quiet and serene, they knew that their future was bright. They had built a life filled with love, purpose, and integrity, and they were ready to face whatever challenges and joys lay ahead. Together, they had not only survived the storm but had thrived, creating a legacy that would inspire others to do the same. Their story was one of resilience, love, and unwavering commitment to the truth, and it was only just beginning.